as you can see, it's night time now, and I've had a good day really. I was able to wire up all my system. I acquired a lot of bits and pieces in Bromyard on eBay, and they've just been sitting around here for 10 days waiting until I got this autopilot. Once I got the autopilot, I realized that I needed to change some of the arrangements, so I've ordered a whole pile of stuff on eBay to do the autopilot and all the other things that I thought of whilst I was doing this. And now that I know how the autopilot's going to wire up, I was able to go over the boat and find some bits and pieces, some new terminals for the battery and things like that, so that I was ready to wire everything up. And I did this very, very thick cable, and so it's the first time I've done a proper job on this thick cable. I had to buy some special crimping tools for this, some big ones, and these work quite well. And I bought some circuit breakers, and they couldn't quite take the thick cable. If I took out the water seal, the thick cable could go in, and the plastic bits protected anything from getting short-circuited of that. So that's okay. It doesn't need to be waterproof, it just needs to be covered with plastic so that it doesn't short-circuit. And so yeah, I wired it all through under the bilge and into the battery compartment, the other battery compartment at the back of the boat. So it's not that far, but the cables I think were about 2-meter cables, possibly, couldn't be 3. I can't remember exactly how much I ordered, but I used the exact length that I ordered, a red one and a black one. And so the other video that I did shows the system, how it's set up. But yeah, just thinking back on it, and it was a good day and we got quite a bit done and a lot of stuff ordered. And so I'm going to be heading off soon, probably this weekend, back to Bromyard so I can pick everything up and bring it all back here. But this is the first time I've had the motor running on the boat properly mounted, because I haven't been able to connect it to the battery properly, the whole system. So this is the first time really I've had the whole system in place, and it's really nice. Now it's all tidy and everything's in order. Just press the button, and to switch the motor on is great. You just they're not off and on, it's just a little switch on the circuit breaker, and really works well. So there's quite a bit of battery power there. There's I think it's 210 amp hours plus 20 amp hour that I use for the dinghy, so it keeps it all charged, all together. So it's about 250 amp hours. You can only use half of that. That's 120 amp hours, so it's pretty good really, and should be enough. I'm hoping it'll be enough. If it's not enough, then I'll have to take the engine out probably, or clear out one of the other compartments and put batteries on the other side. That's all I can do really. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather get the engine out and put a proper battery tray in there and put all the batteries in the centre of the boat, and be in a position then to build on top of the batteries for a proper electric engine that drives a prop. And if I can do that, then I can report back, and I can then get a comparison between the trolling motor and doing it that way, and how efficient it is. What are the efficiency losses on the propeller shaft? Because I got a feeling that it's much more efficient to use the trolling motor than it would be to drive the propeller of this boat. I think there'd be losses involved. We're trying to get as much power for as little cost. That's the thing. Much power on the motor with a minimum of power electricity usage. It's nice and cool now. It's been really hot all day. It's been difficult. But I've been making ginger and lemon tea with honey rather than what I normally drink, and it's quite refreshing. I can't remember where I put my glass. Oh, here it is. Yeah. I just make it in this flask. I just put some lemon and ginger, and then put hot water in, and you've got instant tea. It's quite good while you're sailing too. I mean, if you're like me, you can put a bit of honey in it. You can see how it's all working in here. Everything just right here, and this table's been marvellous. And the reason the table's set up where it is because I was editing the video. The last video, I just edited the last video, and the laptop works really well for editing videos. Quite quick too, and it uploads pretty quick as well. So all in all, it's not a bad system. When I'm finished with this boat, I will one day be finished with this boat, I'll be selling the boat, and everything that I've put in the boat is going to stay in it. I'm not going to take anything out. I'm going to start again, if you like, on the next boat, and new everything that I've got new in here, new batteries, it'll all be new in the next boat. Every boat's different, and you don't want to disturb any of it. It's a lot of time and effort in working out what you need to buy and how, getting the right length and the right cable thickness and for the draw of the boat, and just getting everything sorted. You don't want to lose any of that. You want that to go to the next owner. And so I don't believe in undoing things to do things. I like to always create and never destroy. And so I don't like to pull things out that there's nothing wrong with them. I'd rather enhance them than pull them out. And I've actually painted some of the vinyl in here, but not all of it. I've only painted where I felt it really needed it. And then I've cleaned up the vinyl as best as possible. And so the boat is really original. It's like an original Macwester Rowan 22. It's a classic. It's part of our history. It's one of the greatest boats ever made, the Rowan 22. It's a real classic. It deserves preserving. And so I'm probably not going to take the engine out because it's the original engine that they used to put in these boats, and the engine is working. It's just a starter motor. Doesn't need servicing really. And I don't want to do any of that. I just get signs all the time that I shouldn't be using engines. Whenever I get involved in an engine, they just stop on me. There's always a problem. And so but I'm not going to take it out because it's part of the history of the boat. And so maybe the next owner would like to restore the motor. This is a nice project. If you just bought the boat, restored the motor, or even re-engined it if you wanted to do that, whatever. But it's a lovely, lovely boat, the Macwester Rowan 22, and there's a lot of stuff. A lot of talk about Macwesters, and they get them confused. They think people hear that the Macwester 26 has a bit of a bad reputation because it had short keels and it had a lot of windage, a lot of it wouldn't sail to wind, a lot of leeway is what they call it. Had a lot of leeway and stuff like this. And this kind of, people think 26, 22 must be the same. It's just like tars, everything with the same brush, but it's not so. This little boat is a very excellent sailing boat, and it's fast too. Most of the time, once the wind gets up, you're doing 5 knots, 6 knots, easy. All you need is a good blow. And it's only when it dies right down that he goes, but it'll still sail, you know, 3 knots, no problem, light air. It's a good little boat for sailing. And I'm far from over with it. I'm going to do a good mission on this. But when I finish that mission next time, I'll probably move on, because I have to have something to do with my life. I can't just, this boat will be finished then. And I'm not interested in doing old diesel motors. I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in bringing humanity forward and getting rid of all this stuff and going electric and proving whether it can be done or not, and developing also our skills so that we're not so reliant all the time on engines, that we can sail into our dock, we sail out of our dock, and only use an engine when we really need to. Now, if we can do that, we'll find that it's only the last few hundred feet that you need the engine for, and then you've got plenty of manoeuvring ability on a little trolling motor. And so we'll see how it goes, but I have good hopes for it. I did come across this concept of a trolling motor on a 22-foot boat. In Polynesia, there was a man who sailed over from America in one, and he arrived on a trolling motor, just electric, and nobody, you know, this is 10 years ago, nobody had seen this sort of thing then. They didn't have trolling motors except in America. They were used for bass boats. But now it's very easy to get trolling motors here, and at good prices too. And so it's quite a bit that you get, and it doesn't really matter if you only use the trolling motor for one season, it will be worth it, you know, if that's all you got out of it in terms of corrosion and stuff like that. I'm sure you get more than that. You know, if you wanted to replace your engine every year, you could quite happily do that if you're not having to pay for petrol and stuff like that, and servicing, maintenance, oil. There's huge expense in looking after diesel engines. Now, the other thing that I've been weighing up is the back end under the tiller. I noticed that I never ever sit there. Never, just never. You always sit on the sides, you never sit there. And you can't climb through there, go through there. There's no actual use for that part of the boat. And so that would be an ideal place to have one of these suitcase generators. You know, you can imagine the very smallest, lightest, most economical suitcase generator that you could buy, just to have that just sitting at that over there at the end of the boat where you don't use it, underneath the tiller. This is a good idea, I think. And so I'm going to look into that, and I have got a little bit of savings in the bank. I could actually buy one. I'm not sure if I need it or not, but I might just buy one anyway, so the boat has got one. And if I do get stuck on my trip, then, you know, I can always start that up and charge my batteries if that's, you know, necessary. If I was on a canal and it got overcast or something and I wanted to go sooner and I didn't have power, mains power. If you've got mains power, you're all right. Or you might be out at sea, something like that. And I don't know. I can't imagine when you might need it, because as long as you sail for a few days without using your motor, your battery's going to charge up. You've got 10 amps worth of solar panel there. 10 hours at 10 amps is 100 amps. You should be able to charge up your batteries in a few days. So all these things we'll have to find out. Whether I should get the suitcase generator, I don't know. It's another engine. It's another thing. But there is space for it. If anybody wanted to do it, the next owner could quite happily do that. It's a good space for it there, and it's right close to the the battery system there. It can hook into the batteries there for charging, no problem at all. So that will be very, very interesting. And underneath the seat there, you could probably cut that out under there, and because there's nothing behind that, cut that out so that you've got maybe put one of those locker doors on it, just a small one, so you could open it up, and inside there you could have the two battery chargers, and then you can plug those into the generator, and you could be charging the battery with what's coming out of the generator from the charging circuit, plus 2 other battery chargers, all at the same time, all plugged into the system. And I think you'd be able to fast charge using that system. Something to think about. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that now, and I hope you find these videos interesting. I enjoy making them. It gives me something to do odd times when I'll be doing nothing else. So it's just like whenever I feel like it, I pull the camera out and do whatever it is I do. So I hope you enjoy them, and thanks for watching.